Hey angels, this is the weekly general reading for the period of today, Sunday, December 26th through Saturday to come, January 1st, 2022. Starting with the dice. And I've got what I'm pretty sure is one of my adult dice sitting here. I don't know from where it came, like why it ended up with my other dice, but I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and drop it then. So Spirit says no. This week, no. Yes or no questions? No. Cocktail. Dirty movie. So connections that involve technology, a lot of texting or online dating, or sending pictures, videos, something could go viral, across the country, across the globe. Something could be majorly newsworthy that we're all tuned into, and that could be what Dirty Movie is about. And I'm on top. And like I said, these are my adult dice, but I don't think that this has anything to do with sex. And that's why I went ahead and used it for this general reading. I felt that we were going to get a message that could be applied generally, and I think that I'm on top totally can be that's a wonderful energy for any of us to go into the new week and certainly the new year with. Okay, so I feel good about that message. With the cards, I got my Modern Witch Tarot here. I have like 20 tarot decks, but you typically see me using the same ones over and over again. And when I say 20 tarot, I mean 20 tarot decks specifically. That's not including my oracle decks. I got drawers full of cards. But you typically see me using, for the most part, this same ones and keeping the others, I don't know, nice. Especially since most of them are Rider-Waite themed. And these are too. But I don't know. I was guided to use them, and then I also received, despite the few people that saw the monthly readings that I did by Zodiac, the limited views, of those people who did see it, I was asked by some of them if I could do the weekly reading similar to how I did those. And I guess maybe because I used multiple cards and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then I was guided to use these. I'm like, okay, I'll use these and I'll do that. And then I realized, I'm like, but then I can't have multiple cards show up. This is just one deck, unless I mix these with another deck, which I have not done. That was why I used the Angel and Animal Tarots, and that's one of the reasons why you see me using the same decks over and over, because I've already got them like prepared to be mistreated by me, to be used till the wheels roll off, So then I resolved to using these, and I was like, I'll figure it out. And right before, I got a notification on my phone from the TikTok app. I figured my daughter had sent me something. It was something I commented on that somebody was liking the comment. But anyway, that caused me to open the app, and I saw a girl shuffling. So I could only see this side, but she was using these cards. And I'm like, okay, so I guess that's a message. Yes, go ahead and use your Modern Witch cards. But I still don't know how I'm going to do that particular crossbred with not more than one card in the deck, because that sort of makes it less exciting. So for example, I think it was Leo, and I could be wrong, because one reading was better than the other. Of the three that I did the other day, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, I thought the Cancer one was good, especially since, some of the energy that I've been seeing for Cancer, hasn't been the best, or for the water signs in general, last year. And I just felt that things were going to get better for them, and things have been getting better for them in my readings, at least. But this one, specifically for Cancer, I was just like, oh, I was so happy to see it for them, And then Leo, and Leo's reading I felt was better than Cancer's. I am partial, perhaps, because I'm a Leo rising, but but I think at the same time I'm kind of neutral, because half the time people don't even know that I'm a Leo rising, because I'm still able to critique Leo and to acknowledge how Leo can be, even though I'm one myself, technically, you know. So some people don't realize that I am one. They're like, oh, you're so hard on Leo. I'm like, I am a Leo. Basically, I'm a Leo rising, you know, so whatever. Then the Virgo one was even better than Leo's. But I started to talk about that because they were getting like, even though I mixed up the card, I shuffled the cards, I cut the cards in like 20 different piles before I laid the spread, and we still got for them like 2 Kings of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles, you know, Ace of Wands in the middle. I mean, it was like crazy, the cards that came up, you know, and the duplicates that were really, really positive. So I want y'all to be able to have that now too. And I probably should have just figured out what the hell I was going to do before I turn on the camera. But anyway, here we are. Here we are. So you experience it with me. I'll experience it with you, however you want to look at it. We'll start with the Two of Swords, which for me is often about love. If it's not about love and relationship, it's still about emotions in terms of having had a love or an emotional attachment to something from which you were separated, it was lost, or, you know, so if it's not a person and a romantic relationship, then it's something else, something that was lost, some sort of separation, some sort of betrayal, heartbreak, hurt, pain, right? And so this is a decision about that. And I think that some people had previously made a wrong decision, right? When I say the Two of Swords, for me, it's about like knowing what decision you want to make, but not making it because you're worried about what other people will think about your decision. So instead of doing what's really in your heart to do, you do something else, hoping or figuring, well, that should work out too. Or, you know, I hope it does, or this is what the world wants to see. This is what the world wants to see of me. This is what the world wants to see me do. This is who the world wants to see me with. So yeah, this will work. And of course it doesn't, at least in the long run, because it's not you. This happens especially, obviously, like couples where, you know, one is gay and they're in the closet or something. You can get a beard, as they say, or, you know, a mate that is not your same sex. You know, you can get a straight mate and try to force that to work, as long, but it's never ultimately going to, you know what I mean? So it's that type of thing where you choose, and it doesn't have to be, I'm just using that as an example. It doesn't have to be specifically that, like a same-sex person and a straight person trying to make it. Anybody that you're trying to make it with that is not who's in your heart to truly be with, it's not going to work ultimately. Or you're going to be in like you know, it's not going to be that full, complete feeling of loving and being loved. You know, there's always going to be some longing. They're always going to keep in touch with this person, you know, or follow them, you know, watch them on social media, be intrigued by them, look for them, because their soul is literally longing for this other person. There's nothing you can do about that. And it happens with things too, with you know, career choices and paths. I made the wrong decision. You have in your mind because, you know, you didn't do what was truly in your heart to do. So that all those things are what the Two of Swords represents for me. Okay, and as a result of that, it looks like, having made that wrong choice, there was heartbreak, there was sadness, there was a feeling of loss or separation, betrayal, something like that. But the universe shows up with a new opportunity to make the right choice. Fresh start, Ace of Cups. And then here we have that with the Two of Cups. So it likely is, again, romantic. If it's not a romantic situation, this can be a best friend maybe that you lost contact with, a business partner that was really the right person for you to work with and place for you to be, person, you know, for whom, you know, whom you should be invested, and vice versa. And for whatever reason, maybe you split the partnership, and, you know, like say this is a singing duo, and one splits and goes solo, and then neither career really works out. It's like that type of thing. This could be best friends, it could be family members, but very likely romantic situation. So since we've looked at these three, I'll just throw them in. Person could be from the past, or a situation can be something from your past, your childhood, possibly even a past life, maybe involving a soulmate. Star is back. The star was in reverse behind one of those other cards, the Two of Cups, I think. And now we have the Queen of Swords also showing up here. So this is very strong Aquarius energy. The star directly correlates to the sign of Aquarius in the tarot, and the Queen of Swords also does, because the Queen of Swords, really, or the Queen of any suit, represents the fixed sign of a given element most directly. So for the element of air or swords, that would be Aquarius. So a lot of us very strong Aquarius energy coming through. We also have the Die Dirty movie, which for me is tied to Aquarius energy too. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Behind the Queen of Swords, we have the King of Swords. So we do have an actual love relationship, partnership. Then the Queen of Swords looks completely disinterested in the King. So that this could be representative of the relationship we were just looking at. Two of Swords, wrong choice, wrong behaviors, and now you're not happy and you want a second go at it. And it looks like the universe will give a second go, but it's gonna, the Queen of Swords is going to take some some convincing. But again, there's another ace now. There is a possibility for something really, really beautiful to come of this. Ace of Pentacles showing up, as well as the Ace of Swords. Okay. Getting this King of Swords may not be an air sign. I mean, it doesn't have to be an air sign in general. The court cards can be an actual person in your life, and then may even more specifically point directly to the element that they represent, but they don't have to. And I'm picking up, and in this case, this may very well be a Virgo or a Taurus. Maybe Taurus first and then Virgo, in that order. Could be a Capricorn as well. I just got because of Venus. So Venus is located in Capricorn. This could be Venus. It can also be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Mercury, also located in Capricorn, ruler of the sign of Virgo. Venus, ruler of the sign of Taurus. Also Uranus, Aquarius's ruler, currently located in Taurus. Now we have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is about the truth coming out. It's about victory. It's about a new beginning that maybe was hard fought. You know, there were challenges leading up to this, but we are getting a new start. And it may even get off to a bumpy situation, a bumpy start. So again, in terms of this King and Queen of Swords, it could get off to a rocky start, but eventually she can turn and actually be facing him and be engaged in the situation and interested in the relationship. We're being shown the Two of Cups again. So it's legit love. Got the Chariot showing up now. And then that Three of Swords again. So on that note, I'll stop here. And we can cut. I wanted to talk about the universal energy of 6 this week too. I hope to get that in, because that's where we're about to enter at the end of the week. So we got an overall energy of the 10 of Cups in reverse, followed by the Emperor upright. Card most directly representing the collective this week is that Three of Swords. It is back. Surrounding energy involving close friends, family members, co-workers. It's the Queen of Swords in reverse. Wow. Work and finance is the King of Swords in reverse. Love and relationship, the Six of Wands, upright. I'll do it this way. You can see all those. Physical health, strength in reverse. Spiritual health, the Chariot in reverse. Again, overall energy is the Ten of Cups, also in reverse. So the Ten of Cups in reverse, I want to hold it up since I'm not using the stands, tells us that there's something, at least one thing, for us to be like really happy about and to be appreciative of in our lives right in front of us, and really warns us against missing out on those opportunities, people, places, and things that we already have or that are right before us for the having, while we're busy like on some kind of quest for the perfect future that may or may not be attainable. And I don't want to confuse people, because I don't want to make it sound like it's guidance to settle for less, because that's not what I mean. But it is guidance to, for less than perfect. I mean, well, maybe it is guidance to settle for less than perfect, because nothing is perfect and nobody is perfect. But it's not to settle in that sense that we normally think of, like, well, I'll just take this crap instead, because, that's right in front of me, that's right here, versus striving for more. And that's not what I mean. The biggest message really is for us to live in the present, that there are things around us that are positive. And there's a silver lining in every situation and something to be appreciative of. So looking at this Emperor, actually, and the Ten of Pentacles behind it, even the Tower in reverse behind that, this tells me, for example, somebody's father. We have a father here, and or father figure, authority looking type person, and then somebody like a mother and a child. A father could have passed away, for example, and left an inheritance, left maybe a home, a tower. And so, is it sad? Would you be sorrowful, and maybe even sad about your family situation, that there was a loss? Absolutely. But even in those situations, or a situation like this one, there is something to be proud of, something to be appreciative of, something to be thankful for. Look at this beautiful legacy that was left behind. I'm just giving you an example. Look at this beautiful legacy that was left behind. Look at the beautiful home. Look at the memories. Look at who he was and what he represented to not only us as a family, but to his friends and his co-workers and the world in general. And I can be proud of all of that and thankful for all of that, And so there is that reason to be appreciative. And it can get more specific in terms of relationships between potential romantic partners and friends, or one's relationship just with themselves and how they feel about themselves, and and their future, or their possibilities in their future, and what they're striving to be and what they're striving to become, in terms of recognizing themselves right now and all the accomplishments that they've already had, and not knocking themselves for those things. So that takes us to the Three of Swords, as the card or the energy that most directly represent the collective this week. And in this card, I'm glad I used this deck, actually, because this always looked like hands to me. They were pushing the swords back up, nope, not today. We're not doing sadness today. We're not doing sorrow. And, as I was explaining before, it can be about loss. It can be about sorrow. It can be about separation, sadness, disappointment, betrayal, all these things. But even with that, it's like the situation isn't, all bad, no matter how scary sometimes this card can look, depending upon, like the deck that one is using or something. And on this particular occasion, with, like I said, it looking kind of like there's arms holding you back, I think maybe things are not so bad. Maybe somebody just got like mildly disappointed and something that we should be able to easily move on from, because again, we got so much to be thankful for and so many things in our lives that are good and positive and wonderful. Somebody's ego may have gotten bruised or may get bruised this week or whatever, so that could be like why we're feeling this way, but that's not even like enough reason to just sink into sadness. So then we have the Queen of Swords and the surrounding energy. And this is a really great placement for her because she's in reverse. And the Queen of Swords in reverse in general, let alone in a placement that represents surrounding energy, can be about obstacles, like bumps in the road and blocks, stumbling blocks and things that are often caused by other people. I mean, sometimes they can be caused by ourselves too, even with the Queen of Swords, but majority, like often when you see her, it's because there's some sort of difficulty, challenge, stumbling block, like I said, that's caused by somebody else. So this would be somebody in your surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers, someone or something happening down at your job or something like that. This person may not be very nice. They can be kind of abrasive. Maybe it's the way they talk to people, or, just rub people the wrong way. And again, she may be a direct air sign, a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes in your, surrounding environment, surrounding energy. Then we have the King of Swords, also in reverse. He is in the position of work and finance. So in work, there could be somebody, the King of Swords is somebody who says what he means what he says. He's in reverse right now. There could be somebody who's not doing that at all, and they need to. Like, if they have something to say, or they have information that if they shared, it would be good if they shared it. It would be helpful to you. It would be helpful in general, maybe, for the office or wherever it is you work. But they're not holding on. They're holding on to whatever the information is, or maybe they're waiting for you to ask them for it or something like that. But they're being like a dick. You know what I mean? In terms of finances in specific, that may or may not have anything to do with your work, this week it's going to be real important to be very, detail oriented and meticulous when it comes to our finances, because it's possible that mistakes will be made or have been made, and us finding them could, really pay off in our favor. Like maybe it's a mistake in your bank account, maybe it's a mistake with your paycheck, or both. Maybe your paycheck, it's direct deposited for whatever reason. It didn't credit this weekend. It's late or whatever because of the holiday. I don't know. You notice that, you get to call HR before it goes into another holiday week or the new year, right? You get to say, all right, this is a problem. Or my paycheck is wrong. I worked 80 hours. I only got paid for 40, whatever the case is. I was due a refund. I have my receipt here where I returned the stuff. Where's the refund in my account? And so this can be a way for you to get money back. Also, if you're looking for a job, I'm going to touch on that. If you're looking for a job, you are going to have to really say what you mean and mean what you say, and make sure that it's clear to this person, who may specifically be a male, and maybe even a more specific, a dark-haired male, that you're going to have to really convince them that you know what you're talking about with relation to this job. So you're going to have to, again, say what you mean what you say about the things that whatever the person who's going for a job in whatever field it is you're going would know. And you're really going to have to impress them in every facet of the job or area of the job in order to get the job. Six of Wands in love and relationship means that If we're already in a committed relationship, that it's going to get even more and more successful, deeper, closer, loving, you know, good this week. And if we are single and looking, then it means it's some sort of the same thing about us. Like maybe where we had sort of been out of the game in the past. It's like we're making our comeback. We're doing our march down, our parade down the avenue, and all eyes are on us, and we are sought after. We sort of have our choice of who we're going to pick, what we want, what kind of relationship, and to really be pretty much like it's like a relationship is yours for the choosing or not as a single person. It's a really positive omen in love. Oh, wait, something I forgot. Some of us have been having dreams about a person, like, the person of your dreams, the person you've been dreaming about. It could be in a very literal sense, the person you've been dreaming about. And, which is kind of scary to me because I normally don't dream about anybody. And I did yesterday, and I told him, you were in my dream. Anyway, yeah, moving on from that. It just reminded me, but the person that you've been dreaming about could really be, on their way to a relationship with you. You have successfully manifested them, winning. All right, so physical health, strength. Strength is in reverse, so you may not be feeling like you're at your best or fullest, but this card, I always say, whether it's upright or in reverse, and no matter the placement that it's in, it's always positive. It's always good. You have the strength you need to conquer the world this week, and you kind of just need to believe that. In terms of physical strength, physical health, all of that, you kind of just need to believe that. For whatever reason, maybe you've been thinking that something's wrong, or that you don't have what it takes to do a particular thing or to be successful in a particular area of your life, and that is untrue. It's kind of going to require like a little bit of mind over matter from you this week. It's also a good week to try to shake a habit. So it warns too, though, with it in reverse, even though it's a lion, it's like, a go-getter, and then can be an aggressive energy. It warns that like slow and steady wins the race, kind of like an earth sign. It's weird. But like when I say that, I mean like not jumping into, all right, like I said, for habits, right? Breaking habits. But it doesn't tell you to necessarily try to stop smoking cold turkey. If you think you can do that, then go ahead. But it's not like, all right, this is the week to get rid of habits, so just, drop everything completely, whatever. It's not asking you to do that, and it's not necessarily the week for that. Maybe get the smoking gum. Maybe cut down the number of cigarettes that you smoke. Maybe start a daily workout routine if you need, to break the habit of just sitting around doing nothing. And you need to, so you, maybe like a small 5-minute routine, and you build up. You don't necessarily sign up for a gym and go work out for 3 hours. I mean, if you feel like you can do that, then go ahead. But if it's something you're forcing yourself to do, it's probably going to be unsuccessful. And lastly, the Chariot in reverse, in the position of spiritual health or spirituality, can mean that we've finally gotten like some answers that we've been seeking for with regard to our spirituality. And we finally have like, just a real understanding. We got some truth. Maybe we discovered something, we learned something. And we're beginning to put some things together, just a clearer picture of where we are spiritually, and what practices we believe, foundations, all that kind of stuff. And it's probably true. You're probably right if you're feeling like that. But with the Chariot being in reverse, it warns us there could be something about this sort of newfound awareness and or spirituality that we don't really understand yet. So we should continue to explore all aspects of whatever it is we're into, without necessarily, rushing in head first, so to speak. And that is the spread that I have for you with the Rider-Waite cards. So now I'll try to quickly do a cross with the other cards. And here are the other cards. We're starting out again with an Aquarius energy. It's Major Arcana card 17, the Star. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Again, the Star can also, it's not only about wish fulfillment and success, although I just opened right to the Ace of Cups and sat the card, the Star, on top of the Ace of Cups. So for some, it definitely is about, as I was saying the words wish fulfillment, for some it is definitely about wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, prayers being answered. And speaking of dreams coming true, we just talked about the person of your dreams actually coming to fruition and, in the near future with the Six of Wands. So, that could be attached to that as well. But in addition to being about wish fulfillment and again, dreams coming true, goals being reached and accomplished, and prayers being answered, and manifesting successfully, it's also potentially about things like online dating and dirty movie videos, pictures, sending them to each other, something going viral, communication involving some sort of technology or something. And now the overall energy is Major Arcana card 10, the World. In a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward and fortune is on your side. And then we have Major Arcana card 1, the Magician, immediately behind it. So Jupiter is bringing in, really wonderful things for us. Maybe because it enters Pisces this week. And a lot of people have been waiting for this transit. The 28th, Jupiter enters Pisces. And so that Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is what this card represents. It also represents Sagittarius energy. But Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, the esoteric ruler of the sign of Pisces also. So Pisces will then have both of its rulers there. Neptune, which rules unconditional love and the deepest parts of our soul and our heart, like our personal individual truth, but what we keep buried for no one else to see. Jupiter knows and rules that through the energy of Pisces. And then Jupiter is luck and karma and all that kind of stuff. So think about having luck and success and positive works in terms of karma, so like dharma paying off now that both of Pisces rulers will be there. Also, the Magician is about successful manifestation. If you haven't been successful at it already, it shows up to say that you can be. You have everything you need in order to be successful. You're ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. And then the next card is also, wow, what is all this? The next card is also Major Arcana, but it's in reverse. It is Major Arcana card 0, the Dreamer, which to me also represents the planet Mercury and the sign of Gemini, like the Magician does. And then we have the Sun. So we have more Jupiter and more Sagittarius with Major Arcana card 19, the Sun. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success if you have confidence in yourself. All right. Obviously, I could keep going with that, but I'm not going to. So this here will be recent past. I feel like I need to do it a little bit differently for the purposes of a weekly reading rather than a longer period, but this will still be near future. This will still be higher self. Maybe I don't need to change anything. A message from higher self, or where our higher self is, what it wants us to know, all that. And this will still be the foundations or the lower self, earthly, our 3D situation, mind, where our head is at. And then the heart of the matter for the week. Again, with this very positive overall energy, though, so keep this in mind of the wheel. Definitely about a positive change. And it comes in very quickly, too. Recent past. Page of Cups. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced, you can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may receive suddenly an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. We have that along with the Ten of Swords. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. And the Queen of Pentacles. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. The first thing that I saw, honestly, was a C-section. Somebody gave birth, or will give birth early this week, if they haven't already recently, like over the weekend or something, to a child, obviously, via C-section. The swords, representing knives. So the baby comes via C-section. For others of us in the recent past, we, getting over some sort of sense of being sort of like down in the dumps or whatever, and have been recently motivated to pick ourselves up and maybe work on our environment, to sort of pull ourselves out of a phase of depression or anxiety or both, that we were experiencing. And this is not because somebody else told us to. We suddenly moved to, let me get out of this slump and start, working on me, working on my house, cleaning things up, decluttering, making my life more enjoyable and more comfortable for me. And that was due to some sort of emotional shift. And it could be due to the shift that we experienced. I think definitely Venus moving into Capricorn has something to do with that. But there could be other aspects of one's own chart and or experience or life that cause them to all of a sudden want to do this. And when I say like pick yourselves up out of a slump, like for example, I was upset about, not really a breakup, kind of like a breakup once years ago, and I started drinking. I'm not that I was not a drinker before. I was a casual drinker, but I started, a casual vodka drinker. When I drink vodka. I started coming home with like a fifth of vodka every day and drinking that. And like by the end, this went on for like 2 weeks. It wasn't my whole life. It wasn't, didn't develop into a whole thing. But 2 weeks was way too long, even then on its own. And by the end of that 2 weeks, I had just given up even on the glass. I was just drinking this vodka straight out the bottle. And I asked myself, like, what are you doing? What also really shifted me was my daughter asked me what I was doing. So then I had to think about it. Okay, now you've asked yourself, somebody else has asked you, this is obviously becoming a problem. What are you going to do about it? And I decided, without saying anything to anybody, without having a conversation, that what I was doing didn't make sense for me anymore. It wasn't logical, wasn't me. And to pull myself out of that depression, and to get on with my life. And that day I set the bottle aside. I got rid of it. I didn't buy another one. And so I did two things that we've seen in this reading. I like I said, pull myself up, but also I kicked a habit, like we just talked about with the Strength card. So I say all that to say that could be the type of experience that one or more of you will also go through this week, and it happens to the best of us, and you can pull yourself out of that and begin to make your environment more loving and comfortable for yourself with this Queen of Pentacles energy, which may involve an actual other person that will be significant in your life this week, potentially a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, as well as a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Near future. The Empress. So, like I said, somebody over here having a baby, and then we have the Empress. So this is, motherhood. Ace of Wands can definitely be about having a child too. So, I mean, obviously that's not going to be for everybody. That's for somebody. But, we have that. For others, the major Arcana Car 3, the Empress, does represent for me the planet Venus, which again is the ruler of the earth signs, earth sign Taurus, but also of the air signs Libra and Gemini, is currently located in Capricorn, is the planet and goddess of love, as well as money and abundance in general. It's time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. Threes are about creativity, creation, the creator. So that is from, where that direction is coming. You'll be, guided to draw on your natural abilities, and maybe because you're feeling like you're in a place of lack, and how you can pull yourself out of that mindset, if not that place in general, in a more literal sense, is through your creativity. So let's say, for example, you're not getting enough hours at your job. You feel like your check's not big enough. And what can I do? I'm a knitter. I can crochet. I can sew. Let me sell my wares in that sense. Or I'm tech savvy. Let me start to do something on my computer that can generate funds. Or I can create YouTube videos or TikToks or something. And I can pull myself out of that area of lack and give myself a new start. I don't need somebody else to do it for me. That is the very near future. So figure by the end of the week or next week, you may find yourself drawn to, doing something of that nature. Then we have the Emperor in our higher self. So he's saying, yeah, and not only that, but you take charge of the situation. You organize these things. You take the lead in this situation, and you drive it. You be the driving force in your own life and whatever happens with you, whether it's financially, economically, or in any area. And never distrust yourself. Never doubt yourself that you can and that you can be capable. But also never doubt that there's not at least one person or one energy out there, positive, that can support you if you are in need of help and you do ask for it. In fact, here the government shows up. The government, maybe the government, could be the government. Something shows up. The universe shows up with some sort of assistance, seemingly maybe out of the sky, gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. I just talked about a potential career opportunity, saying that you could do that. You could take charge. You can be the leader. You can be the boss. You can be your own boss. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. And the Seven of Swords is about, potentially being lacking confidence, or being afraid of again, loss, theft, being robbed of chances, robbed of opportunities. But if we don't have confidence, we rob ourselves of opportunities. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye, and poor timing. So we can correct that by taking charge. Earthly, our foundation. all twos. And we're going into this year, the universal energy of 6 that I wanted to talk about. It's a 6 year, but the 6 is made up of all twos, right? 2022. So in our earthly situation, our earthly lives, where our heads will be at and what will be going on in earthly sense, or down here in the 3D, is a relationship that continues to go closer, forgiveness, and the positive resolution of a conflict. For some of us, this could be with, again, business partners, close friends, family members, romantic interest, romantic partner, mate. Strength, the ability to face any and everything that comes our way. As I mentioned in the last spread, wherever strength shows up, it's positive, it's good. There's no placement where strength is negative. It's always positive, because it means that we are enabled. We have the ability to do whatever it is we need to do. This card specifically says that the forgiveness that this card talks of will be a real show of strength. Like if you can muster up the ability to forgive somebody or to ask someone's forgiveness, that's a true sign of strength. Right? True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. And you have tremendous personal power. That means you will have the ability to seek forgiveness or to offer forgiveness, or both, in a situation that you're faced with. It may first require you, or you may first feel required to think about it and to pay attention to the signs, any inclinations that you get, your intuition. Are you being moved to reach out to somebody and contact them, seeking forgiveness or offering forgiveness, or both? Maybe you're meant to do that via some sort of tech online. Send them an email, send them a text. Maybe not pouring out your whole situation or story or apology or forgiveness to them, but reaching out, making the connection that leads to this, the bond being reforged between you and another person. This is the time to pause and to reflect. So you're supposed to think about it first, not to take action. It doesn't take when it says this, that doesn't mean don't take action ever. Like just never take action again. It means before you do, you think about it, you reflect on it, and you pay attention to the signs and synchronicities and what your soul is telling you to do, what your heart is telling you to do, and then you take the action, right? Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. And you may want to do this, you may find yourself here December 31st. Like, I don't want to go into the new year without this forgiveness, or this could be early next week where you'll find yourself in this kind of situation. And at the heart of the matter for the week, we have the 3 of Wands, abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. But we also have some fear and some experience-based or likely experience-based doubt, pessimism, that again can cause, lack of confidence, that can again cause us to miss out on an opportunity that's brand new here for us, awaiting us, will be so emotionally fulfilling and is definitely something on which we do not want to miss. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. And all those would be really beautiful. This could be something we've been working on for a while, that we've been waiting for a while, and we may still have to wait a little longer, as the threes can often be about the need for patience, and the Three of Wands can be about, yes, you're successfully manifesting, and you're almost wholly there. You almost have the Four of Wands, and that will be when it's completely manifested. You have a whole foundation, but not quite yet. You'll need to be empowered, though, and to have faith and optimism in order to, to fully manifest it and make it here, though. So that's where attention to this comes in, and a need to turn this around for yourself. Again, you can put yourself up. This is what your higher self is telling you. You can take the lead. You can take authority. You can take charge over your life and be the driving force. And you don't have to allow yourself to sink into this kind of play. You can decide to pick yourself up and say, I'm not going to do that. I believe that I've already manifested this, Everything that I deserve, everything that I desire is already mine, and I'm just waiting for it to finish finding me. Okay? And it's on its way. Hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly general reading. If you want to stick around for a moment, I will log onto my computer and check out what it means for Jupiter to be entering Pisces. Okay. We're on. And this is from tarot.com. Jupiter in Pisces, spiritual, compassionate, and deep. Being the largest planet in our cosmos, Jupiter is known for its ability to expand our minds, hearts, and souls. It is a teacher, eager to open us up to the endless opportunity in our lives and the possibility in our world. Jupiter is all about reaching further and going beyond our boundaries, which makes his transit through Pisces oh so perfect. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and therefore represents boundlessness. It is a sign that revels in spirituality, fantasy, and connectivity. Jupiter's presence in Pisces only helps to magnify this vast way of living, helping us to reach feelings, thoughts, and experiences that we could never have dreamed of reaching before. Jupiter is quite happy swimming in the wide and deep waters of Pisces. Jupiter is known as the great teacher, but during this transit through Pisces, the most important knowledge doesn't come from reading books or listening to lectures. This is a time to learn from our souls. I was just saying that, right? Learning, it's what we've learned from our experiences. I didn't at the time realize that this was going to say the same thing, but I could certainly feel that. Anyway, it's a time that we learn from our souls. It's a time to gain knowledge through silence. Like the High Priestess saying, listen, pay attention first. Then decide, after you've gained that knowledge, then decide what you're going to do. And that's actually what twos represent in math, or at least supreme math. Twos mean wisdom. And speaking of that, wait a minute, I'm just getting another message, because, don't start me lying, but from my memory, because I've read a lot about him, because we have a lot in common, Clarence X, who started the Nation of Gods and Earths, and who discovered or created supreme math and the supreme alphabet, was born on February 22nd. Now, I do not recall the year at all. So I don't know the total numerology, but there's our 6. Also, this year on February 22nd, as I've shared with a lot of you in the past and posted on my community tab in YouTube, That day this year in 2022 will be a Tuesday. February 22nd will be a Tuesday. And it's also a Tuesday because it's 2/22 to 2022 on a Tuesday. I don't know what that may mean for us or for anybody, but I was clearly just guided to realize that in the midst of reading about Jupiter and Pisces, and to stop and share it with you. And when I say we have a lot in common, I sort of, when I realized that I was on this spiritual path, I sort of came to know supreme math, organically, naturally. I didn't have to study it clairvoyantly, claircognizantly. The same thing with a lot of other methodologies, particularly those involving numbers, where I got my connection to Gematria and even like Freemason, all this kind of stuff. But Clarence 13X was actually murdered, assassinated, however you want to put it, on the same day that I was born, 2 years before my birth, on the same block corner that I was born, 135th Street and Lenox Avenue, at 10:30 in the morning. I was born at 10:30 in the morning, 2 years later to the date of his murder. There's a few other connections or whatever, so that's why I know about him. I wish I could remember what year he was born. But anyway, back to Jupiter and Pisces. This is a time to learn from our souls. It's a time to gain knowledge through silence, whether through meditation or walking through a quiet forest. Information and truths are sensed and learned within us and cannot be reduced to a simple sentence or two. With Jupiter in Pisces, the real prizes are found in our hearts, not our heads. Our connection to something bigger than ourselves grows during Jupiter's transit through Pisces. Pisces is the sign of spirituality, and Jupiter is the planet of philosophy and religion. When these two team up, our concept of faith expands greatly. We can learn so much about our own spiritual connections by listening to the experiences and views of others instead of seeing our personal viewpoints as right and others as wrong. This is a time to realize that we're all connected to the same sense of spirit, even if the specific paths we take and symbols of teaching that we follow look different from someone else's. Spirituality is such a personal concept, yet realizing there are many, many paths toward connection and enlightenment can actually help us to solidify or expand our own unique views. Well, even for those who, this is what's always been funny to me about the Christianity, that they sort of think that theirs is the only way, when writing the Bible, the Bible that they follow, that they believe in, it said that God will reach all corners of the earth and speak to all people in the languages that they're used to speaking. Like the Holy Spirit speaks to everybody in the language that they need. So we don't need, English people, European people going to Africa, for example, to tell these people in English that they should be following this vision of God or Jesus, this concept that is the European version, when God already said in his Bible, if you believe that he's going to give these people, these African people, their own. He's going to speak to them in their languages, the many languages of the continent. He's going to look like them. So, it just goes to show you how limiting religion can be, how restrictive it can be, that it prevents us from thinking even that much. Even, we're reading this book and we're not really receiving the information that it has in it. Our connection to something bigger than ourselves grows during Jupiter's transit through Pisces. Pisces is a sign of spirituality, and Jupiter is the planet of philosophy and religion. When these two team up, our concept of faith expands greatly. We can learn so much about our spiritual connections by listening to the experiences and views of others, instead of seeing our personal viewpoints as right and others as wrong. This is a time to realize that we're all connected to the same spirit, even if the specific paths that we take and symbols of our teaching that we follow look different from someone else's. Spirituality is such a personal concept, yet realizing there are many paths toward connection and enlightenment can actually help us to solidify or expand our views. So important, I had to read it twice. While Jupiter moves through Pisces, our egos pull back and our sense of compassion expands tremendously. We're more intuitive at this time, helping us to truly feel the worries, fears, and suffering of others. We cannot simply disregard others' problems as their own. Instead, we're eager to help those around us and to heal and to reach a happier place. Jupiter is a planet of great positivity and reward, and in this sense, the reward is a greater connection to loved ones and the knowledge that we've truly helped another soul back onto the right path. Overall, Jupiter in Pisces blesses us with a beautiful energy that helps us to strengthen our relationships with others and teaches us a great deal about ourselves. There is, however, one word of warning during this transit. Pisces is a very idealistic sign, and combined with Jupiter's abundance of positivity, our expectations can become so idealistic that we set ourselves apart and we set ourselves up for disappointment. An optimistic outlook is always a good thing, but if our head and both feet are up in the clouds, then reality could bring us crashing down. We mustn't lose our sense of hope and wonder, but we must realize that a bit of prudence can help us to avoid a big letdown. It goes on to talk about what it means for Jupiter to be retrograde in Pisces, or if you were born with Jupiter in Pisces. If you're interested in reading about this, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. I hope you have enjoyed our weekly general reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. And Happy New Year to you all. Wishing you the best. Namaste.